What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Sergeant Moose here, back with another The Texas Chain Saw Massacre video. Today is September 25th. We have a new patch coming tomorrow on September 26th. Let's dive into the patch notes, see what this thing's all about, and what we can expect in tomorrow's patch. Alright guys, so kind of what we talked about in our last video regarding Edition 4 of the Muerto Times. We had some fixes in testing that we said probably would be included in the next upcoming patch, and it appears that that seems to be the case. That's right guys, so the three biggest things in the fixes in testing in the Muerto Times was the stun immunity period for family members. So when you get stunned, there will be a period to where you won't be stunned again. That's going to be included in this patch. Also, Hitchhiker traps has been a huge topic of discussion since the launch of the game. Since people started finding out about the exploits and things like that, that also will be a topic for this patch. So without further ado, guys, let's jump right into the patch notes. As we know, Gun likes to release the notes before the actual patch comes out. Again, the patch is coming out tomorrow, guys, September 26th. So, first things first, let's talk about Hitchhiker, guys. This has been an issue plaguing the game for quite some time now, and as more people are finding out about it, it's becoming more difficult for victims to escape when they have a Hitchhiker on their ass knowing where to put the traps and exploit. But that is about to be changed in this upcoming patch. So, first things first, Hitchhiker trap exploit. Fixed an exploit where Hitchhiker players could use his trap to pass through walls and doors. This is one issue that I did not know about, guys. So apparently, there's certain places around the maps, maybe locked doors, or maybe to get into the basement, or in certain areas of the housing, things like that, that you can actually try to set a trap through a wall, and your body will be on the other side. That's what I'm assuming this means. I didn't even know that was a thing, but very, very happy that that's being fixed, if that is a thing. Next, we have Hitchhiker trap interaction issues. Now, this is what we've all been kind of noticing. We've resolved an issue where victims would be unable to interact with gaps, crawl spaces, and other elements after stepping in a Hitchhiker trap. So this was most common, guys, on the tops of ladders. If you would set a trap on the top of a ladder and a victim would step in it, chances are that that victim would be bugged from going through gaps and crawl spaces, sometimes for the rest of the game. And the only way that they were able to fix that was to go back down the same ladder that they came up. But, you know, rightfully so, not a lot of victims knew that that's what they had to do, nor that should they have to do that. So, that is being fixed. Great change coming in for Hitchhiker, and me being a Hitchhiker main, I love to see these changes. Next, guys, this is something that I actually did not expect to see in this patch, but I cannot believe it is going to be in this patch. So those of you out there that love to abuse Johnny and his lunge ability to basically propel yourself forward without using a lot of stamina and get a huge lead on survivors, this is going to be changed. So Johnny and Sissy's lunges are going to be changed. We're going to talk about Sissy here in a second too. But Johnny and Sissy both had a lunge that was greater than other family members. So we did know this about Johnny. Now see, I didn't see too much of a big difference in Sissy's attack. I didn't even realize that she had a lunge that could kind of propel her forward. Her attack really doesn't seem to lunge too much, but we know that Johnny's is certainly an issue. We've adjusted this to be more in line with the rest of the family members. This should also correct the Johnny build we're seeing in public matches. So, that's right, guys. So, with Johnny, if you were running a few abilities and you were, or should I say perks, and you were using his lunge attack, you could simply just lunge around the map while sprinting, and you could get from A to B as quick as possible. And it was almost impossible if the victims were in an open area to win a chase against Johnny. That, however, is going to be changed. So if you're someone that is like a Johnny main and you're used to using this exploit all the time, no shame on you guys, but you're going to have to get used to using him without it, and that's the way it should be. So Johnny and Sissy fixes to their lunge are coming in. Next, guys, we have a brightness cheat fix. Fixed an issue that would allow PC users to adjust their in-game brightness outside of accepted levels by editing game files. So, this is an issue that has been plaguing PC side. Unfortunately, as you guys know, crossplay has been disabled between PC and consoles a few weeks ago. So, I haven't seen too much of this being on console myself, but there is a brightness cheat on PC that is going to be fixed as well. Next, guys, we have changed Hitchhiker traps at ladder exits. We have adjusted the area at the top of the ladder where the hitchhiker can place a trap. And this is exactly what I said in the last video, the Muerto Times video edition 4 that I made. I was assuming that they were going to adjust the positioning that you can set a trap at the top of the ladder. This still allows for strategic play, but will give victims an opportunity to counter the trap, guys. Not to toot my own horn, but this is exactly what I said. To where the victims can still climb up the ladder and miss the trap if they're careful, but if they're not paying attention, they're still going to be able to hop into that trap. So it does give them counterplay. This prevents the hitchhiker from essentially blocking any ladder exit on the map just by simply having a trap. So, very, very good change here. Gives victims the opportunity to escape through ladders without automatically stepping in a trap. Next, guys, this one's huge as well, and I want to talk about this. This is one that we've all kind of talked about as well, and a lot of us, especially on the family side, have suggested, and this is a Fusebox reset. So, there will finally be some counterplay to the Fusebox from the family members, aside from exploiting with Leatherface and standing in front of the basement door. The family can now turn off the Fusebox after the victim turns it on. Now, we're going to have to test this a little bit tomorrow, guys, because this is, I'm a little confused about this, but it says there is a cooldown applied to the switch, similar to generators and car batteries. So, I'm hoping what that means is this cooldown is going to apply after you've turned the switch off. If there's a cooldown when the victim turns the switch on to where you have to wait a period before you can turn it off, that may not be as helpful because most victims, especially experienced victims, know exactly where to go and exactly how to get down to the Fusebox exit almost immediately after turning the Fusebox on. But I'm assuming this cooldown will apply after the family members turn the box off, to where there will be a waiting period before the victims can reactivate the Fusebox. So, a lot of us did suggest that the fuse would break after you've used it once in the Fusebox, then you'd have to go find another one. That's not going to be the case, but this is definitely a step in the right direction. So we're going to test that tomorrow, see how that works, but that is, in my opinion, just an amazing balance change that kind of even outs both sides. Next, guys, another huge topic that was in the Muerto Times fix and testing was family stun immunity. Family now has a 10-second stun immunity period after initial stun ends. Now, in my opinion, guys, this sounds great on paper. This may need to be tweaked a little bit. As a family main, I do have a heart for the victim side as well as I enjoy playing victim as well. I hope this isn't too much of an immunity period for the family, but here's the thing, guys. The game is designed to when you stun a family member, whether it be with a bone scrap or a door or Leland's ability, instead of you trolling the family member and trying to get another stun in succession, you should be using that opportunity to get out of there, get out of his vicinity, get out of his line of sight, and make your move to try to escape. That is the whole direction they're going with this stunning. So, for those of you that are upset that you can't just simply go and grab 2 bone scrap and, slam Leatherface in a door and then immediately keep stunning him afterwards, that's too bad because that's not how the game is designed. So, there is no stun immunity after a family member is stunned by victim bursting out of a hiding place. So, that's kind of rare to see anyway, but if a victim bursts out of a hiding place, there will be no immunity to that. If you attempt to stun a family member who has immunity, you will not see the prompt for Leland's ability or a backstab. So, keep this in mind, guys. If, say a Julie or somebody else comes and stuns you with a door or stabs you in the back, say you're Leatherface, and then, you get all excited with Leland and you're trying to come up and you want to get that follow-up shoulder tackle, you still have to wait that 10-second window before you can actually do that. Amazing change. I'm sure there probably will be some trolling victims that don't agree with that are upset because they can't, stun Leatherface for, 3 or 4 or 5 minutes straight in the basement, but it's a much-needed quality of life change. If you attempt to stun a family member who has immunity with a door slam, it will have no effect. So, if you slam Leatherface with a door, if you slam one of the family members with a door, you want to backstab them, you got to wait 10 seconds. It ain't going to happen. Close encounters all vary in duration due to the individual family members having different stun recovery times. Therefore, the immunity period is different for each. So close encounters are going to vary amongst the family members, guys. And also, Taekwondo, I think we've all seen this coming. Taekwondo has been nerfed. It has been nerfed to level 1, a 5-second stun duration, level 2, a 6-second, and level 3, an 8-second. Also, the Agitator perk, which is stabbing Grandpa and reducing all of his levels. It has been reduced as well. Level 1 coming in at 1.5, level 2, 2, and level 3, 2.5 level family members. So, if you're a level 3 Agitator, and it's still a massive hit to Grandpa, guys. 2.5 levels. If he's at level 5 and you're stabbing him, you're bringing him back down to 2.5. That's pretty big. In my opinion, that is big enough. Next, we have stealth performance in minigames. Again, the developers are working on stealth continuously. They are trying to make this game more stealthy. They're trying to give family members more time to set up, and they're trying to make it longer for victims to be able to get out of the basement instead of immediately as usual, which is how the game's designed. Stealth performance in minigames. We have adjusted the amount of noise generated in gathering minigames when at full stealth. So, in my opinion, guys, I'm not exactly sure what this means. I don't know if this is going to be somewhat of a buff to stealth or not, but we shall see. It is tuned. Also, we have Leland's ability stun duration. We have adjusted the stun duration upgrades for Leland's Lifesaver ability. Now, I'm assuming, guys, this is also going to be in regards to the concussion that he can add to at his level 3 from his ability, because it can be incredibly frustrating and an incredibly long cooldown from the time you get stunned by Leland to the time you're actually able to start getting back up and interacting with things. So, big changes here coming tomorrow, guys. A few things that I want to test out and see how they're going to work, but this is a massive balancing patch, and it goes for both sides. So, if you're a family member who's upset, about hitchhiker traps or things like that, so be it. That's not how the game's designed. You should not want your fellow victims to be, bugged out for the rest of the game to where it's going to make it easy for you to kill them, and it's going to ruin their experience. Likewise with the victim side, the stunning, the overall trolling with Leland's and Anna's in the basement and stunning with doors and bone picks, that was obvious it was going to come to an end. So we'll see how that changes tomorrow. We'll see how people kind of counterplay it, because I'm sure people will try, and we'll be testing that as well. So with that said, guys, that is the patch notes in a nutshell for tomorrow's upcoming patch on September 26th, man. Awesome patch, I think, incoming, guys. Now, Gun did announce that they're not going to be releasing patches as frequent now, and I think that's a good thing. We shouldn't expect a video game to be releasing patches every single week or even every other week. This just means that they're getting the game on track now to where they want it to be, and in my opinion, this is a step in the right direction. So they still will be releasing patches, but just not as often. So I'm really happy to see that, guys. That means that they've gotten some of the big issues out of the way, and now they're going to be working on some other things, and possibly, hopefully, we'll see, maybe even DLC. But with that said, guys, that is the patch notes for tomorrow. As soon as the patch drops, we're going to test it, go over it, things like that. For all things the Texas Chain Saw Massacre, guys, feel free to check me out here, Sergeant Moose, man. We're streaming the game all the time on this channel around 9 o'clock Eastern time, pretty much every night. The schedule's a little sporadic with how we stream, but if you check in at that time, chances are I'm probably going to be streaming. We usually go at least 5 days a week. But with that said, guys, keep it right here, man. Feel free to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.